Hi, everybody, and welcome on into this industry update brought to you by Tenstreet. I'm Kaylee Nix, and I'm excited to be joined by Tenstreet CEO Tim Crawford here with us today to dive a little bit into some exciting announcements that just came out from you guys. Tim, thank you for being here.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So you guys just finished up your annual user conference and just got back from that. I'm sure it was a very exciting event. Talk to us a little bit about the conference and what you guys ended up releasing at the event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite week all year. We introduce a lot of new functionality this time every year, and this year was no exception. I think we introduced 35 new features, so it was a really busy time. And it's always great to interact with our clients in person. Zoom calls are great, but there's really no substitute to seeing people face to face, and it was great. A lot of great conversations. I think a lot of excitement about some of the new functionality, and we're really excited to see what our clients do with the new tools.
Yeah, nothing beats getting together face to face with all the folks who you've been chatting with and who you service, but then you get to actually see them in person and get to understand a little bit more in depth with the people that you actually serve with your technology. And let's talk about some major themes that came out of the conference in the event. With some of those big functionality releases, what was some of the feedback that you guys were getting, and how did you implement that into these latest updates?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big themes for us this year was all about how do we make messaging smarter, both by um, uh, enabling human connections between carriers and drivers, and but also doing it in a way that leverages some new Gen AI technology, so that carriers can spend time building connections and not time answering kind of rote questions. And we think we happen onto a path that gives drivers a better path to the data they need, while it gives carriers the ability to make those human connections and not spend time answering the same questions over and over again.
Yeah, we often talk about that in the industry, how people lose a lot of time in answering those questions that could be done through maybe a tool like generative AI or through things that really can speed up the process. And once you are able to answer some of those questions and make some of those connections, it just makes everybody's life a little bit easier. And when it comes to some of these functionality releases, what is most exciting for you guys? What are you guys really jazzed about when it comes to the updates to 10th Street?
Yeah, what we're really excited about is how we were able to implement the generative AI tools in the context of a larger human connection, and not just have the Gen AI be like there's a channel over on the right that kind of happens. The metaphor we make is we wanted the technology to be like an escalator. If you think about it, escalators never really break; they just turn into stairs, right? And so, hey, when a driver asks an unexpected question, or there's a use case there that we didn't expect, instead of having it just a nonsensical answer from the technology and the recruiter doesn't know, the carrier doesn't know, hey, have it right in context with a human connection, and and you know manage those things so those conversations develop organically, and do it in a way that when drivers are interacting with the tool, um, we're not trying to pull one over and make it look like they're talking to a real human, and then find out later, no, that was really just a bot you were talking to. And we're really excited about that. And the feedback we've gotten from our early beta testers has been really positive. And so we're excited about seeing what happens with the a larger adoption.
So it's no secret that the industry this last kind of 16 to 18 months hasn't been very kind to anybody, really. We've seen a lot of folks go out of business, a lot of smaller drivers, whether they were single owner operators or whether they were small fleets, have to either shutter their doors or go back from running to themselves to have to enter this driver pool and work to get recruited by some of those big carriers, things like that. And even though we're seeing now this issue where we have these drivers wanting to rejoin the bigger fleets, there's still necessarily not an easy way for them to get connected, get recruited, and get into the system. And it's a little sticky, right? So when you're looking at the way that the industry has treated both the drivers and the carriers over the last kind of 16 to 18 months, what role does AI have in really smoothing out some of those processes and maybe making it a little bit kinder heading into the rest of 2024?
Yeah, one of the things we see a lot is that um, the default approach is that carriers ask drivers, "Hey, give us a lead application." And there's all this pressure to get to a full application. When a lot of times, what the driver's looking for isn't an application; they're looking for answers to those questions. Don't ask me to fill out a full application. I don't even know if I'm happy with your home time or what have you. Make a human connection with me. And so our focus has been really on how do you leverage Gen AI to get both those things solved, right? And do it in a way those human connections are happening supported by the system, not in spite of the system, if you will.
Do you think that there's any hesitation or maybe fear, trepidation on maybe the carrier side of how this and generative AI tools really can change the recruiting process? Normally, we think of recruiting as being very successful in that human to human connection, right? You make a connection with a recruiter and they maybe make you feel a little bit emotionally good and emotionally supported. So you say, okay, I think that this could be a safe space for me. I'm going to continue the process of getting in. Does AI run the risk at taking away that human to human emotional connection? Or do we still think that there is a role for both that human to human and the AI to kind of hold hands and work symbiotically?
Oh, exactly. We really, really believe that the most successful carriers are going to be the ones that lean into that human connection and aren't looking to use AI to make that interaction even more faceless, right? And so I think it's all about intent and all about how that technology gets positioned. And so we think context is so important. What we see is it's excuse me that the application paths that have a human connection early, whether that's a driver referral or a phone application, they're by far more successful for both carriers and drivers. We're trying to build on that, not move away from that.
That makes perfect sense. And of course, when we get into those AI tools, it ends up just making a little bit of the process easier for everybody. So, coming up for you guys at Tenstreet, obviously, as we're looking forward into 2024, everybody's hoping to see a little bit more of a freight market recovery, hoping to see a bit, maybe even a stronger economy, a little bit of a flip, but nobody quite knows what's actually going to happen. What are you guys working on coming up for 2.0, and where are your goals looking at for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we echo that sentiment about the want to see the economy get stronger, the freight economy get stronger. We're seeing things continue to stabilize, and I think we're seeing people more optimistic about what happens next, and taking advantage, of the silver lining of hey, things being a little slower. How do we get smarter about how we operate? And so we're really focused on two things. In the immediate short run, it's, hey, how do we get these new tools in our clients' hands and really start getting mileage out of them? That's thing one. And thing two, um, I like to say our clients are divinely discontented. They're always coming back to us and saying, oh, what if? What else could you do? What else could you do? So we've got a lot of ideas about where we go next with both the Gen AI and other technology. But I'm 100% confident our client's going to come to us and say, oh, look, here, what else could you go do and to make things even better?
Those are the best kind of clients to have, to be in that constant feedback loop. So you are always iterating better for them, and they're always helping you iterate better for the future. Tim, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If people want to learn a little bit more about Tenstreet, maybe get involved, become one of those clients, provide some of that feedback, where can they go to do that?
I think check us out on our website, tenstreet.com, or LinkedIn. Happy to have those conversations and see where they go.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for this industry update. We'll see you next time.